Hi Pisces, welcome to your love reading for this week. I hope you guys are all well. As always, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, Pisces, let's see what's coming for you. So we have Four of Pentacles, the Devil, Ace of Pentacles, the Chariot, Six of Wands, Nine of Swords, King of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, and final card is the World. Okay, so I'm going to start off with couples, and then I will move on to those of you who are single. Okay, so the heart of the reading for everyone is the Six of Wands. So this is victory. This means that any obstacles that you're facing, either in a relationship, in healing a relationship, or even in finding love, this is nothing that you cannot conquer this week. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the couples. Top row here, Four of Pentacles, the Devil, Ace of Pentacles. You know, and this has come up for quite a few readings. You know, the Four of Pentacles, it especially being the first card, and you guys don't see this, but I really like I shuffle this deck like a crazy woman, and yet this card keeps coming up. And you as the first card, and I mean, my goodness, with the Devil right next to it, I kind of feel like Pisces, like you really need to focus. If you really want to heal your relationships, your marriages, that's where your focus needs to be. It needs to be there. I mean, you have victory on your side here. You do have the Ace of Pentacles over here saying that, you know, there can be an unexpected change in your relationship that happens almost like without you having to do much. But I do feel like your attention needs to be there. And I feel like something's going on with that Four of Pentacles. And I keep getting the same message for everyone that has gotten this card, especially with it being the first card. For some of you, I feel like some relationships may be going through some difficult things. I feel like some people may be focusing too much on the material. You may be focusing too much on work, on getting ahead and making money, maybe even on school. You know, if you look at the card, it looks like, you know, he's holding his pentacles, but they kind of look like money to me for some reason. It looks like money. And I feel like some people are more focused on that right now. Kind of going in, I feel like the first card always kind of, it's a symbol for what energies you're bringing in from the month before. And I feel like for some of you, you're more busy, like, you know, with work, or maybe it's maybe not even work for you. It could be that you're busy with your children. You're busy taking care of things at home, other relationships, with your siblings or friends. Like, I feel like you have a handful right now, but I feel like this is not helping. Maybe it's not even you. I feel like it could also be your partner. I feel like this is not helping your relationship. Like, it's not helping. There's an unhealthy energy there with the Devil. And for some of you, you know, it can be that you're focusing so much on career or making money, or maybe your partner is, and this is bringing in not so positive energy. I feel like this is not bringing in more love into your relationship. If anything, it's kind of sometimes distancing you guys. Like, it's bringing in like a sense of separation. Like, you feel like, you know, I'm giving all to my partner, but they're always at work, or they're always kind of working on other things. Maybe they're spending time with their friends. I feel like there's an unhealthy energy there with the Devil, and the Devil does sometimes represent that you're focusing too much on material. I even feel like for some of you, like as a couple, your focus may be more on, like, you know, let's work 2 jobs, let's work long hours in order to have more abundance. I kind of get the feeling with this reading that, especially with the Ace of Pentacles right there, that you're really kind of working on something. Like you're working on bettering yourself, like as far as like maybe like a home or your finances or paying off your bills. But I feel like this is not healthy. This is not what you should be doing as a couple. It's almost like you're forgetting each other. It could even be that your partner is the one, like I said, focusing on all of this, and you're kind of being left behind thinking like, well, what about me? I feel like financially, like you will be provided for. So you don't need to focus that much energy on that. I feel like it's an unhealthy influence. The devil can also be, an unhealthy relationship. Make sure that you are not sticking around with a partner just for financial reasons. Not that anyone would do that, but I do see that, with the Four of Pentacles and then the devil and the Ace of Pentacles. Make sure that your main focus for being with someone is not that they have a lot of money in the bank. I feel like it needs to be based on love. But there's something unhealthy with the devil. It's a major arcana. It's a major arcana, and I feel like it really stands out. It really stands out. So it could be an unhealthy relationship, but I also get something that you have to look at, something unhealthy within your relationship, maybe that you don't want to look at, that maybe, there's too much focus on money. With the Four of Pentacles, sometimes there's too much focus on like clinging to things. Make sure that you're not kind of clinging too much to your relationship. And maybe you're afraid of losing that partner. They're saying that is not healthy. You do have the Ace of Pentacles on the top as well. So this is kind of like a new beginning. The aces are all new beginnings, and these are like blessings. These are blessings from the universe or God, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, this means that financially you don't have to worry. Even though this is a love reading, I feel like I should say that you don't have to worry, but also means that your relationship can suddenly take a turn for the better. And I see that all over this reading. For those of you that have been struggling with your relationship, there's possibility of things just kind of finally clicking into place. You having the happiness and the closeness that you've always wanted. Moving on to this row here, the Chariot, Six of Wands, Nine of Swords. So the Chariot, it does represent, it's a major arcana, and it does represent movement. And you also have the Wheel of Fortune, which also represents movement. So I feel like for some of you, I don't know, some of you may be moving, traveling, but generally the Chariot, it represents kind of like just movement, and a positive movement to a more positive place. But the Chariot does mean that you are the one creating this movement. It means that you are the one in the driver's seat, and you're kind of pushing things in order to make things work for you. So I feel like if your relationship has been in a not so positive place, you're going to be the one to have to, take control and make things happen. I just noticed right now that you have two victory cards right here. The Victory Major Arcana and the Victory card Minor Arcana. And then you have the Nine of Swords, which does represent like a lot of worry, a lot of fear and anxiety. I feel like someone is really kind of worried about the relationship. I feel like you're worried that you're not going to stay together, that you're not going to be able to make this a victory or a success, that you're not going to be able to stay together. I feel like there's a lot of angst, a lot of terror is what I'm getting. You feel like you're losing a part of your partner or losing your partner. But they're saying, that this does not necessarily have to happen. This does not have to happen. You literally have two victory cards right here side by side. Usually with the Nine of Swords, you are kind of worried over something without, it's worry without merit. So whatever you're worried about and you're kind of fearing the worst, it usually does not happen. But it doesn't mean that mentally there is quite a few things going on for you. Now moving on to this row here, King of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, the World. So it's interesting. I just noticed that right now the Chariot is all about you taking control, like I said, and the King of Wands is all about you taking control. I mean, this could also involve someone who is a fire sign. Could be that your partner is a fire sign, but these are two cards that represent a lot of personal power, a lot of self-confidence and determination to make something happen. So clearly you want to make something happen, and there's a lot of worry. There's something unhealthy over here, but there are a lot of positive cards saying that whatever is wrong in your relationship, whatever you are afraid of, this is nothing that you can't fix. And the Wheel of Fortune, you know, it's here. And notice, you know what it's lined up with here? Something unhealthy, victory. And then Wheel of Fortune saying that your relationship, I'm just noticing this right here. This is a funny synchronicity. Your relationship is moving to a different phase. So two cards are telling you that. I'm like pointing all over the place because this reading is very synchronistic. It requires you taking the lead, maybe even being like positive, being the one that kind of uplifts your partner. Maybe they're, you know, in a not so positive place. Maybe that is why they're more worried about their career or making money. But things are turning around for you. The Wheel of Fortune always represents change for the better. It also represents movement. And like I said, this is movement. This is movement. It represents movement in a much more, you know, to a much more positive phase in your life. So you've been in a kind of a bad place where you've been struggling. That is going to change for you. And the World really kind of brings that home. I mean, two major arcana side by side, the World, you know, is the final card of the major arcana. Ironically, it is your final card in this reading, and the World means the end. It is the end of a cycle. Like I said, this represents moving to a new cycle, and this represents moving to a new cycle. So you have two messages, double message here, double message here. And so I feel like you have absolutely nothing to worry about. You're worried about something, but you're worrying in vain. Think about something else, because this reading is like very positive. I mean, I know there's something unhealthy going on over here, but this is something that you can fix. I even kind of feel like for some of you, like there's some type of miracle with the Ace of Pentacles over there, where there's just kind of like a sudden change in your relationship, where things suddenly fall into place. And the World is telling you that you succeed. Notice how it's lined up with the Nine of Swords. The World, you know, is a card of victory and success. So you actually have three, 1, 2, 3. It is, you know, the ultimate card of success and kind of graduating from one phase in your life to the next. It means that you can move on. So if you've been in a, you know, difficult place, maybe because you have been struggling as a couple, or you've been struggling financially, there's worry about it, but there's also kind of like a blessing, and then finally kind of movement, an end to this difficult period. All right, just seeing if anything else jumps out at me before I move on to singles. Now, I think I pointed around these cards long enough. So let me go ahead and move on to singles. Okay, for those of you who are single, again, you know, Six of Wands is your main energy. It's the heart of the reading, and it is victory. So I feel like for those of you, you know, you're looking for love. Obviously, if you were not looking for love, you would not be watching this reading. They're telling you that you can actually make this happen this week. You will be able to achieve successful relationships. All right, but just seeing if anything else jumps out at me before I move on to singles. No, I think I've pointed around these cards long enough. So let me go ahead and move on to singles. Okay, for those of you who are single, again, you know, Six of Wands is your main energy. It's the heart of the reading, and it is victory. So I feel like for those of you, you know, you're looking for love. Obviously, if you were not looking for love, you would not be watching this reading. They're telling you that you can actually make this happen this week. You will be able to achieve successful relationships. Okay, let's start at the top. Four of Pentacles, the Devil, the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, I'm definitely getting a message that there is like a choice for you. Those of you who are single, I feel like, you know, that Four of Pentacles and the Devil is like, it's really calling me. And I almost feel like there's like a temptation. The Devil sometimes does represent like a temptation. It could be two people that come into your life is what I'm getting. And someone like feels safer. I don't know. This could be like an ex or something like that, or maybe it's like a certain type of person that you usually date, and they seem like the safer option. But this I feel like this is not going to lead to anything good. I feel like clinging to certain people, or even like the types of people that you meet, this is what is unhealthy. The Devil, you know, it's a major arcana, and it represents like negative energy and unhealthy relationships, addictions. You know, I was telling the couples, I felt like it was more financial for them. And for you, it could also be that you're focusing too much on your career or making money. But I also get the message that the Four of Pentacles for you could represent like a fear of lack. You kind of clinging and holding on to something. It could even be someone. This is definitely not helping your love life. The Devil is saying this is unhealthy. It's not bringing in a successful relationship. Yet that relationship is here. And that's why I kind of felt like there is a choice for you. You're either going to hold on to, you know, old partners or certain ideals of what you wanted in a partner and kind of relive like the same cycle, or you're going to trust and meet someone new. You have the Ace of Pentacles, and this is kind of like a new beginning, you know, and it's a suit of Pentacles. So this is happiness. This is love. This is peace of mind. So I feel like you don't have to cling and you don't have to settle for unhealthy relationships, because the Ace of Pentacles, it represents kind of like a blessing, like things, you're kind of being showered with blessings from the universe. And I feel like it is your time to be happy. Just like I told the couples, there is success all over this reading. Like all over this reading. Success here, success here, success here, success here. It's like all over your reading. That it's time for you to be happy. It is your time to be in the sun. But you know, moving on to this row here, the Nine of Swords is saying that there's a lot of anxiety and worry. And I kind of feel that for singles, you're either worried that you're going to keep meeting the same type of partner. I'm even kind of hearing maybe I should just keep to myself. You may be worried about like just dating in general, but you know there is a blessing here. So I feel like for those of you that are doing what this woman is doing in the card, just kind of staying at home, hiding under that blanket, you're missing out on something, because you have a victory here and a victory here. So the Chariot, you know, is saying that there's going to be movement in your love life. I feel like they want me to say there's a possibility of movement in your love life. First, you have to kind of get out there. If you're hiding in your room, then there will be no movement or victory. You have to kind of be willing to trust. Again, for some of you, maybe not everyone, the Chariot does represent travel, and the Wheel of Fortune can also represent travel, actually in the world too. I don't know, I kind of feel, I didn't really see that much for couples, but I don't know. Some of you may be kind of attracted to someone at a distance, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that, because there is success all around this reading. But the Chariot, it represents movement. So if your relationship has kind of been, you know, your love life, not your relationship, your love life has been kind of dead, so to speak, and there's not really been anyone, there is a strong message in this reading that someone can come into your life this week, and this will be a successful relationship. This is a committed relationship for you. But I feel like there's a lot of worry. I even kind of feel like you meet the partner and you have like difficulty trusting them. Like there's a lot of worry of losing the partner. I mean, you did start off with the Four of Pentacles, but I kind of feel like for you guys, it felt like clinging, like fear of lack. And it could be that you were holding on to like someone else from the past or dating the same kind of people. I feel like there's worry, but there's like victory right here, a double message of victory. King of Wands. This means that you have to be enthusiastic and in the lead when it comes to your love life this week. It could even be someone who's a fire sign who comes into your life. Just like I told the couples, this is, you know, the Chariot represents a victory, but this is a victory because you have really given it your all. It's all about effort and sheer determination, personal power, willpower, and the same things apply to the King of Wands. This is a double message that you really have to take the lead when it comes to your love life this week. You have victory on your side. Victory is all around you, but you have to be, I feel like you have to be positive, enthusiastic when meeting people. Don't go into it pessimistic. I feel like you have to be very trusting. Wheel of Fortune, you know, very kind of synchronistic next to the world. They're telling you that if you have been at the bottom of the wheel, you know, things have not been happening for you, that is going to change. I feel like this can be a lucky week for you. Literally, like the Wheel of Fortune sometimes means a lucky streak. It means that the wheel finally turns. Sometimes you want to make change happen and you can't. This week you can, but you have to feel in control and you have to be fired up and enthusiastic. The Wheel of Fortune is telling you that it's time for a new phase in your life. You know, are you ready for it? And the world is just, it's a double message right here. Again, they're telling you it's time. You've succeeded in maybe kind of being alone or going through difficult relationships that were life lessons, but now it is time for you to move on. It's time for you to close that chapter in your life. Maybe dealing with not so positive relationships or not so positive emotions. It's time for you to move on. It's time for a new life. And this is the final card in the Major Arcana. And it is your final card, so I feel like that is significant. I feel like it's the end of like difficulty. It can be if you're really being optimistic about your love life. There is a new relationship that should be here. Let me see if anything else stands out. Yeah, looking what's going on here, like I said, you have to really like be self-confident when looking for relationships. Don't think about everything that didn't work out for you, because that was there for a reason. Victory is on your side. And you know, this is a card of blessings. Like I said, things just kind of like happening without much effort. I mean, they are telling you that you have to put in some effort, but I feel like meeting a partner might be easier than you think. It could just be that you have to adjust your thinking, and maybe you've kind of got into a pessimistic mode. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there is a strong message for you here that it's time for a new cycle in your life. All right, Pisces, I will end the reading here. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye-bye.